I just making sure YouTube's all good to go as well. How are you boys doing? We got Brandon, Shane, and Scoop in the house. The full crew is here.
Well, almost the full crew.
Yep.
Almost.
We're missing Adam, actually.
But we're good.
We are good. All right. Well, welcome to Football After Hours on a Monday night. A pretty boring game at that, to be fair, minus the fourth quarter. But Shane, let's do the first edition of the Young Quarterback Report. What do you have for us with both of these QBs?
Yeah. Wasn't super impressed with either one, to be honest. But on that same token, I can't say I'm surprised. This is kind of what I was expecting out of both of them, where you have these guys and they're two head coaches who are both offensive guys but have very different play styles and philosophies than their quarterback. In the case of somebody like JJ McCarthy, he everything we've seen of him is just take the snap, hand the ball off to the running back. And now he's placed in a environment where he, is in one of the most pass-heavy offenses in the league. So, it's just like, I never understood the draft pick by Minnesota. And yeah, everyone's saying, well, he was great in the, last 2 or 3 drives, whatever. It's like, yeah, but for the first 85% of the game, the dude looked awful. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. Like, that was bad. And I don't look. I'm willing to cut him some slack. It's his first start. He's coming off that injury and all the surgeries and everything. But it's just something that I want to watch. Just as the season progresses. So, yeah, I think that's kind of my thoughts on JJ and Caleb. I mean, you can tell he's still trying to play hero ball, but he has a little bit tighter of a leash now, which I think is good. I think he kind of needs that direction. So, I guess in the end, I think I see Caleb's season going better than JJ's. But at the same time, I think I see the Vikings winning more games. So, make what you will of that. But yeah, I mean, this happens, and week 1 is always wild and unpredictable, no matter who you got. So yeah, that's my general thoughts on that. I thought, the Bears defense looked really good, other than, the end. And I think Dennis Allen, their new defensive coordinator, is obviously not a good head coach, but there's no denying he's a great defensive coordinator. So, I think I like what he's doing with that unit. Yeah, but overall, I mean, other than those last couple of minutes, this game was pretty terrible. All things considered, especially for a division rivalry, and but it is what it is.
Yeah, if we're keeping track of Pocket Key's Game of the Week, I think Scoop won this week. Scoop, that was pretty bad for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, again, which, by the way, can y'all hear me? Because my microphone is doing something weird.
No, you're fine. You're totally good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. But again, like I said, I'm not a Caleb Williams fan. I thought he was the second best quarterback at best in that draft. I was always a Jaden Williams guy. Oh, my Lord, Jaden Daniels guy. But I also knowing that he was going up against a quarterback who didn't play last year, who was playing in his first game, who was coming off of a significant injury. Obviously, it was significant. Otherwise, he would have played last year, or at least been able to play last year. So I really wasn't expecting all that much to put those two quarterbacks and to put them on a Monday night game with all that attention. I was not really expecting this to be a fantastic game. Now, granted, I thought it actually ended up being a little more interesting than I expected, at least later on in the game. But as somebody who was watching up towards kind of the end of the first half, it certainly was not, especially in the shadow of last night's Bills Ravens, certainly not as nearly as compelling. Also, real quick, want to give a shout out, of course, to the most dominant winners of the weekend, Coach Hansen over there and his 51-16.
Yes.
So
yes, good win, good high school win.
Wanted to put one up over there.
Hell yeah. But Brandon, you as I were pretty upset by the conservative play calling, really by both sides, but especially at the end with the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, you're up 17-6 late in that game. Even 17-12, I kind of get that you would want to slow things down, especially if you see the Vikings starting to make their push late in that game. But when you get down to it, and you get to the point where it's 9 minutes left or 8 minutes left, and the Vikings take the lead, and it's 20-17. Just why in God's name are you trying to just run the ball between the tackles and just take 2 and 3 yards down the field rather than trying to actively score? It doesn't really make a ton of sense. They kept going 3 and out because of a lot of really conservative play calling. You can't pound the rock with DeAndre Swift is not a 3-down back. It's just not kind of who he is. You can't just sit there, run the ball 3 straight times, and then run a jet sweep with DJ Moore and expect that to work. That you can't do that at that point in the game. That's pretty much what they were doing late. It was almost like they were afraid to open things up and let Caleb Williams just do anything. Rob, like you were saying, it just felt like for literally for most of this game, both quarterbacks were on training wheels. But that's just it's true. It just felt that way.
Yeah.
I mean, really, when you even go back to the 2 or 3 straight touchdown drives or 3 straight touchdown drives for Minnesota, a lot of that's not so much J.J. McCarthy really playing that well. A lot of it's just because the Bears got over aggressive on defense for some reason instead of just kind of playing within their game. And it just opened up a lot of space on that field for either Justin Jefferson to get open or for him to just take what the defense was giving him and just make it easy for him. So it was a really bizarre end to the game. I mean, 21 straight unanswered points. Well, that's what it is. 21 straight points given up by the Bears D, where they'd given up 6 all night before that. It's not winning football, but a lot of that is, the defense is also gassed from being on the field because your offense can't stay on it. Because you're just sitting there, thinking that it almost felt like the Bears got lulled to sleep. It was like a false sense of security for them, figuring that they were just going to walk away with the win and let J.J. McCarthy continue to struggle the whole night. But you can't just start shutting things down the fourth quarter of an 11-point game and thinking that you're going to walk out of there with a win. You can't do that. It's like we're saying, neither quarterback was pretty. When you look at where their targets went, he kind of spread his targets out throughout the night, but nobody had over 45 yards receiving for Minnesota. It wasn't like he was slinging the ball. And then on the other side, look at the Bears. Their best receiver tonight was DJ Moore. He had 70 yards, but only 3 receptions. A lot of that was Caleb Williams overthrowing him half the time. So it wasn't pretty. The score might suggest that it was a good game, but by watching it, you would know it wasn't. And that's ultimately what cost the Bears. This felt like this felt like watching the Bears, like the same old Bears. It doesn't matter if it's week 1 or not. Same poor clock management issues, same poor play calling late in games, team just missed opportunities. That's really all it came down to.
Yeah.
Can I spin it? Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead, Scoop. Go ahead, please.
I just want to spin off of what Brandon just said because it does go back to a point that I was going to make. And you talked about, I'm pretty sure it was Brandon who made the comment about keeping these guys on training wheels. So
Yeah.
what is that? So let me just say this real quick. This is the only thing I'm going to say. What does that tell us? What can we infer from that? That a quarterback who did not play last year, who was coming off of a major injury and is playing in his first game of his career, and the first overall pick last year, who is now being coached by somebody who was considered to be pretty much the hottest offensive candidate the last couple of years as a head coach, they're basically being treated the same way in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
To me that tells me something about how Chicago, or at least some people in Chicago, view Caleb Williams. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that people looked at Caleb Williams last year and just considering his coaching staff and thought, okay, well that's kind of almost a throwaway. It's like now he has the real coach, and that's like, okay, now let's see what he can do. Which, I mean, yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, it's it's like it seems usually when a guy has a resurgence in his career, it's with another team, not with a different coach in the same building. I mean, I think the closest I could think of is Baker. Like, definitely got better once Stefanski came in, but like he still, we still weren't looking at him.
But Cleveland has so much. Cleveland has so much turnover every 6 months. You can argue it was pretty much a different organization anyway. I mean, he had more offensive coordinators before he left there than any other quarterback during that period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. I mean, that's anyways, I think. But yeah, I mean, I just I was looking at. I was just looking at the box score, and I mean, McCarthy only threw 20 times. Like, I think that's, that tells me either Kevin O'Connell, because this is Kevin O'Connell who loves to pass. That tells me he either doesn't fully trust him yet, or he's like, okay, he just came off this injury. Let's kind of ease him back into it. Could be either or, and I could just be totally, reading into this, but that was how it felt to me. So, but in the end, I mean, he does get the win. So that's, I mean, hey, I'm not going to complain about that, but it's just something to think about, I guess.
Yeah, and as Ray and I were talking about earlier, we can't freak out about 2 drives, in a game that was that rough. So for me, it's like, okay, I feel like for both these teams, it's going to take a couple months to kind of get a sense of what they're going to be in terms of what they feel about both of these quarterbacks. Am I correct on that?
Yeah. I mean, it takes a couple months to figure out most teams. Really.
Right.
I mean, we think after.
I'm just going to say, especially with a new coach and a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we always think like after, the first week or two, we're like, okay, we know what's going on in the league. It's like, we have no clue. Yeah. They're all just scratching the surface. And I mean, I know this even just for me coaching. It's like we're in week 2 right now of games, and I mean we've installed like half our offense. So it's like there's just so much that goes into it all. Teams evolve and change as their chemistry grows and they figure each other out. So that's why I always look at I looked at this week, and in my head I was like, "Oh, I was right about McCarthy." And it's like I can't say that yet. Like he
We
has
can't
to
say
keep
that after
playing
one game.
no,
We can't say it after one
he
game. Yeah.
he would have to keep playing like that for 8-9 weeks minimum for me to go. Okay, yeah, no, like it's yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not going to make any judgments yet. That's just what
Yeah.
I noticed.
Yeah, I think it feels like both these teams are probably going to be a bit on the back foot due to just where their quarterback spots are a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other thoughts on this game? Because that's all I have. This was boring.
I mean, it's the social media aspect of it too. Like, you were telling me during the game, like look at all the people on Twitter and social. This is how you can separate the casual fan from the ball knowers. When they're sitting there crowning JJ McCarthy as like the next coming of Steve Young, like all of a sudden, come on, man, like
In
don't do
2
that.
drives, like chill
Don't do
out,
that.
people.
Don't do
Yeah.
that. That's ridiculous. Like, I mean, it's like I saw so many people on Instagram right after the game when they posted like the graphic of like, oh yeah, JJ McCarthy wins first start Minnesota, Vikings win 27-24, and under like there's like NFL whatever it is, like an actual official account. And so many people in the comments are like, oh, JJ McCarthy's here, skull. Like, I'm like, all right, bro. Like, can we calm down, please? Like, it's one game, and it's not even one good game for him. It's one game where he had 3 straight touchdown drives. I'm like, okay, like, relax. Like, come on now. Like, you can't sit there and crown a guy off of one game. If we did that, I mean, and people fall into that trap every year. If you crowned a guy after one game every year, just off of one game, you know how many guys would be Hall of Famers after one game? So,
Yeah.
can't do that.
Matt Flynn.
Yeah.
I forgot he existed.
Exactly.
Scoop, do you have any last thoughts on this game?
Not really. I mean, like you guys said, I mean, it was a game that I think tried to be interesting for a little while, but at the end of it all, like we said the other day, you go as far as your quarterback does, and one quarterback was tasting NFL football for the first time, and the other one looks like he was tasting NFL football for the first time. So, he had a good start. I'll give him that. Insofar as Caleb, but again, if we're gonna, eliminate a guy, eliminate a guy. If we're going to focus on what guys do, later in games or in big moments or whatever, like, if we're going to not overlook, but if we're going to take with a grain of salt the fact that McCarthy finished or had late those 3 back-to-back drives, then I can't put any higher on the way that than the way that Caleb Williams started the game. I can't look at it any more significantly in a positive way than what McCarthy did at the end.
Yeah.
And
right.
you know what else I realized too, as I'm looking at the stat sheet now?
Yeah.
This is another game that feeds into exactly what I said yesterday. Who had way more pass attempts in this game? Caleb Williams. Who lost the game? Caleb Williams. So,
Yeah.
and they weren't even behind like that. They were up 17-6, 17-12. They were only down by 3 at one point. Like, they didn't really lose control of this game until that last touchdown by Minnesota. So
that's a good point, because what I was going to say is, typically some of that comes from, if you lose a lead early, sometimes you end up having to use the passing game to try and get back into it more quickly, and you don't have the time to just pound the rock. But I agree with you, that was not quite relevant or as relevant in this scenario.
Yeah, but it's funny because like all these games this weekend, like all the ones I was pointing out, last night, all these games were games where it wasn't like it was a rout early, like it was a 13, 17, 20-point lead, and the other quarterback had to throw the ball to come back. It wasn't like that. All the games this weekend were all close, kind of crappier games to start the season. So it's like it's like it wasn't like one guy threw a little bit more. Like the guys that lost threw almost double the amount of the winning quarterback, which is
Right.
insane. Like it was like even last night. Last night, I mean, that should have been a loss for Josh Allen, but like he's like the one outlier because that game was just insanely wild. But tonight, like Caleb Williams threw 35 times, JJ 20, almost double. Like you look at at Saints Cardinals. Rattler threw like what was it, like 45 times. Kyler threw like I think once again like around half of that. Guess who won the game? Cardinals and Kyler Murray. Like it's insane that it's just like I don't understand how you can throw that much in a tight game. It's like it makes no sense. I mean, I know there's different offensive philosophies and different ways, different play styles, but you can't throw that much in a tight game like that. Where the guy is basically doubling the amount of pass attempts of the other guy and still lose.
Yeah, Shane, what's your thought process? What's your coach speak on that? Kind of seeing that dichotomy between pass attempts for the winners having much less than the losers this whole weekend.
A lot of times what I notice is when guys come right out the gate passing and trying to win that way. And sometimes it works, but sometimes, it goes horribly wrong because, I mean, if you run, right, you're not as likely to get big chunk plays.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're likely to get, 4 or 5 yards, another 3, 4, 5 yards, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads to first downs, which then, take more time on offense. You keep your defense off the field, you keep them fresh. And the thing is, though, so what happens if you come out and you are going heavy on the run game, but it's not working very well? This happened yesterday with Seattle, where they were running, but it wasn't working out too well because their offensive line, their running backs were just running into a wall. So the thing is, though, at that point you have to pivot and not just go fully, pass, but you got to mix it up.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, for any game you should just come out and, just run and never pass. But, I mean, for our opening drive on Friday night, I think we had, if I remember correctly, we had 5 runs and 3 passes.
Yeah, so split.
Yeah, I mean, a little more run than pass, but still, you want to come out with a balanced approach. I feel like when teams, they lean too heavily on the pass game, it can create problems because if you get all these incompletions, then, I mean, this is what happened with Chicago tonight. They had a bunch of incompletions, and so the clock stops, and you can't control time of possession as well, and you don't move the ball as much. So it's kind of a fine line you got to walk, but yeah, I think because the last thing you want is to get into a situation where you feel like you have to pass it because you're trying to catch up. Because then at that point, your offense becomes predictable. So, yeah, there's some teams we see do that. Chicago is a good example here tonight. There were some others yesterday. I'd have to think more about it, but anyways.
Yeah. What were your overall thoughts on Sunday, Shane? I know you mentioned the Seahawks having trouble running the ball. What else did you notice throughout the whole day?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely the running theme, no pun intended, the running theme last year with with Seattle was, it's okay to run the ball, but I didn't mean that much. Like, just uh, like God. Anyways, let's see. I will say though, I mean, San Francisco losing Kittle and Trent Williams was out for a little bit. They still came away with a win. I'll give it to them. That's impressive. Brock Purdy, despite the picks, finally looked like a real NFL quarterback. um, he finally, for once in his career, put the team on his back and won the game. So good thing he made $265 million, I guess. But anyways, so that, there was that game. And then Steelers Jets, that was just, I mean, what the hell? I was not expecting that at all. I thought that would be like
New Jersey wins again.
I thought that'd be like a 13-10 final score. And then it's what, 34-32. I was like,
Yeah.
Okay. There's two guys who I very much thought, I've seen him. I don't like what I've seen of him. I think he's kind of done for. Who came out yesterday, and I was like, huh, okay, maybe there's something here. One was Justin Fields, who I don't think he was amazing, but I think he played well to his skill set. And I mean, if you're putting up 32 against Pittsburgh's defense, that's pretty good. Especially with first-year head coach and all that. But the guy that really impressed me, and I never thought I would say this, Daniel Jones.
Yep, that's where
That's where I thought you were going to go.
How is, I mean, look, every year it seems like there's a quarterback where we think their career is done for, they're washed, and then they get this random resurgence. It was, last year it was Darnold. The year before that it was Baker. Before that it was Geno, so on and so forth. And I just knew in the back of my mind, I was like, one of these guys, that's probably going to happen again, to whether it's him or, Justin Fields, or name any kind of, fringe starter guy. And, I mean, again, it's only 1 week. Don't want to overreact, but I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, that was pretty good. And I think, especially considering this division, I think Indy is, and this might be an overreaction, but I think they really are kind of a dark horse to win that division.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, their roster's pretty good.
It's not that far-fetched because that division is terrible.
Well, we even, didn't we also say, like, in the offseason, like, they have pieces there, it's just do they have the quarterback? Like,
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the roster and the personnel is pretty good. And, I mean, Shane Steichen, I think, he is a great play caller and play designer. I just don't love him as a head coach, necessarily. Just because he obviously doesn't really bring the guys together. He's not the best in the locker room and all that. It's been pretty well reported that he's kind of not an asshole, but he's just like, he doesn't really connect with the players for a variety of reasons. But I think you could certainly do a lot worse than him for your head coach. Let's Let's put it that way. So, yeah, that's the team that I'm going to be very curious to see, week to week now, just kind of how that progresses. And same with the Jets too. I mean, which I never in a million years thought I'd say that, but yeah. So, anyways, let's see what else is there. Miami. Yeah.
God, yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
Anybody need a new offensive coordinator with the initials MM? Yeah, and then that was bad. Vegas, they seem interesting. I think I was a little apprehensive about Chip Kelly's offense, but coming back to the pros, but
Brandon is not happy that you just said that.
That's the man that should not be mentioned.
Well, he has to be because now he's back.
I know, and it kills me inside.
But I don't think he should be an NFL head coach. He's obviously not good at that. But as an offensive coordinator, I think he could be good. I mean, we'll see, obviously, but yeah, I mean, that was a pretty good start there. What else? That's kind of it. Down go the Chiefs. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah. All right.
It was a very strange week one. I felt.
Oh wait, we also got three. We also got three lightning delays.
Yes.
Between
the weather strikes.
Philly, Jacksonville, and then who else?
Denver.
Yeah.
And that was just at halftime. But yeah.
Also, Cleveland's defense looks nasty.
Yes, it does. They just got to score points.
Which, yeah, only problem is
we didn't really get a chance to talk about this yesterday, but the amount of field goals missed across the board. Yikes!
We just saw that happen at the end of this game.
Yeah. Which really kind of changed what the Bears did offensively for the worst in terms of time management, as we talked about.
Are we in for? I mean, this is early, but do we think that we're in for a second straight year of kickers just sucking across the board?
I think for the first month, maybe, because I do. There's a lot of younger kickers, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Good point.
So there's going to be a lot of movement. I will say one thing: Matt Prater's going to get a job after the first month of the season because he's not going to come back, to Buffalo after the month is over. So he's going to get a job somewhere. I would assume, but that's like the only thing I could say right now. We have to see how the rest of the next month goes. But yeah, I fully expect Prater to get a job somewhere. Yeah.
It seems like with kickers right now, they're all either really young or really old.
Yeah.
So they're kind of no. I mean, seriously. So as a result, it's a lot of kind of inexperienced guys versus guys who are kind of losing their fastball, so to speak. So yeah, and then we're just left in this kind of weird middle area. I don't think we realized just how good the kickers of the 2010s were, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think we were spoiled by good kicking.
Yeah.
But
because anyways. you have what maybe a handful of kickers now that are actually really, really good.
I mean, you got Boswell,
Aubrey. You can't. Bucker didn't look good in the game on Friday. He didn't look great.
Dicker was solid enough, I guess.
But Dicker's not there yet. I mean, outside of last year, do you count Jake? Do you count Jake Elliott?
Well, that's what I was wondering because I think at one point you definitely did, but I think that he's, pun entirely intended, on his last legs.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah.
pun entirely intended right there.
Because it's like
Uh,
to me the only way that I'd put him in that conversation again is if he has pre last year Jake Elliott type of performance again, where it's like he's like Mr. Automatic from 50 plus.
That's why he got the nickname Jake the Make.
Yeah. Like so, but it's like so. Really, who's up there? Is it really just two guys? Is it really? Oh, what? No, well, three, I guess. I mean, do you put? But it's too early because he's still young. He's only kicked for one season. You can't put Jake Bates in there yet.
yeah, it's 1 year.
So really, I mean, it's not even a handful of guys. It's really what? It's just two. It's just Boswell and Aubrey.
Yeah,
I think that's it. I can't think of any more right now.
yeah,
Which is crazy because we used to think of, or at least I did, used to think of kicking as like a formality. Like you used to
Yeah.
just believe that it was, oh, okay, they're kicking so it's gonna be that many points. The concept of missing used to be like a once in 6 blue moons.
And it's like we always thought that, for a little bit there, especially during like the Super Bowl run, like, oh yeah, Evan McPherson was a good kicker, and it's like, okay, now the last, yeah, and now he's just gone down the crap.
Cody Parkey. There's another name I can throw in.
Yeah,
yeah.
like I mean, outside of outside of the preseason 70-yarder, it's Cam Little's first time. This is his first season, I think. So, like, we got to see, a full season of him before we can put him anywhere near that.
I still can't believe that kick.
To me, that should,
beautiful kick.
Yeah, I know he said on the show, but to me, that should count. I'm sorry.
Oh, that should have counted. That should. I don't care if it's it's preseason, but who cares?
No.
Kickers kick all the time.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing about the record holding when it comes to that, because when it comes to preseason, people are saying, well, your third stringers are going against second string, blah 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 blah. Yeah, for offense and defense, yes, that kick is 70 yards no matter when you're kicking it.
Thank you.
And no matter who's on the special teams, because it's still the kicker and the punter holding.
And it's not like this thing, it got a lucky bounce off the. Not that it makes it any less impressive, but it's not like this thing got a lucky bounce off the. This thing had airtime, and this thing cleared that yellow box by freaking yards.
Yeah, it was really impressive. All right, anything else before we go on to post credits?
I don't think so.
I think we got it all covered. Well, Scoop, since we're doing the movie, we'll have to let you go. But thanks for a great week, bud. We'll see you on Thursday.
Sounds great. I really appreciate y'all, and looking forward to another week. And hopefully, Brandon and my Philadelphia Eagles, hopefully anybody on our offensive and defensive line decides to not be dumb. Have a blessed week, y'all.
Nice.
All right, see ya.
God bless y'all.
All right. Well, we are ready for the movie. Week 1. Shane, what do we have?
We have 2014's Nightcrawler. This movie is funny to me because I saw this. Oh, geez, maybe 6-7 years ago, a while ago. And I remember really liking it, but for whatever reason, I just kind of forgot about it. And then, I'm thinking of when we do this show, it's like the first 2 movies we've done in the season for, the 2 years we've done this, the movie thing. The first movie has always been like a, sort of action, crime, thriller type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, what's a, like a crime thriller sort of movie we can do for week 1? It's just kind of like a week 1 tradition now. Is to do crime thrillers.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. But anyways. So I was like, all right, what's the best one I could think of? And I had a few in mind. And then I don't know how this movie came back into my head, but maybe somebody was talking about it. I don't know. And I was like, oh my God, we got to do that. Or I got to consider that. So I rewatched it probably in July. And I was like, all right, this is it. And so then I watched it for a third time this last week, just getting ready for this. And yeah, man, it's like, it's, I can't stop thinking about it. And for good reason. And I have a lot of thoughts, but first I want to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah, it always comes to me right after Shane, so I'm always like ready for like the setup. But it's funny.
It's a new year. Maybe I'll change. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
This is
yeah. I was like, no. Yeah, we'll save the best for last. But it's very weird, and it's funny that you said that Shane. It's funny that it's like, it's a movie that, oh yeah, you watch, you like it, you forget about it, but it's like, it's a niche topic. It's a journalism movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not a movie that, like, because it's like that's just not a topic people are going to care about. That's not a topic that's going to interest people. Like, but when you turn it into basically a crime thriller, it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, as a journalist, I mean, that's the one thing with this movie is, like, being somebody that has a journalism degree, it is definitely this is the most unethical journalism I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is like,
oh yeah.
First of all, that stuff would never happen in real life, because the thing is, the first time that he would go to do any of the things he did in this movie, they would never hire him. You would never be hired by a news station if you were, like, tampering with evidence, being too close to a crime scene. Like, they always tell you in journalism, yeah, you want to get the story, yeah, you want to get the scoop, and I get that. And it's interesting because journalism is a very, very kind of like, deadline driven, cutthroat business. Like, everybody wants to be first. But the problem with that is you also can't overstep boundaries. And this movie crosses every boundary when
The
it comes
FCC,
to
the FCC would have issues.
Yeah, this is very much like, yeah, like the things he's taking pictures and videos of, you cannot, or just videos of, you cannot show on TV. Even if you blurt it out, you cannot show that stuff on TV.
Especially local freaking news.
Yeah, and local news. And not just that, but just, the part that made me laugh the most, and I'm like, is when he's rearranging the family picture to where the bullet holes are, like, to kind of like make it look more interesting. It's like, yeah, that is so ungodly, unethical in journalism. You can't
walk into the police tape.
Yeah, like you can. First of all, you can't walk through a crime scene as a journalist. So, like, you have to stay within the parameters. Second of all, you can't break into the house, pretty much. And third, you definitely doesn't matter if you're a journalist or not, you can't tamper with evidence. So,
right,
you can't tamper.
Well, I think that's the point, though.
Yeah, like, it's like, but the thing is, it's like, how far are you willing to go to be successful? Like, that's why I was saying that you guys are going to chat. Like, this is basically the journalistic version of Scarface. How much are you willing to sacrifice your morals to have it all? And
right.
It's like, that's what I like about this too. Is like, it's a very unsettling depiction of journalism, and that's kind of why I like it, because things like that don't happen, but there have been instances where people do break the laws of journalism, and they have gotten fired for it. Whether that's, writing fake stories or doctoring, footage to make it look better for their cuts, or whatever it might be. But it's just, the one thing I like the most too is like this is, I remember before watching this movie, I remember people saying, "Oh yeah, like Jake Gyllenhaal gives like a super unsettling performance. Like he's very creepy in this movie." And it's like, well, yeah, he is. He's like psychotic, but almost like OCD psychotic to a massive fault. Um, but it's it's good to. They always tell you, when you're going through school and you want to be a journalist, that you have to have the drive in that field. This is the drive times 1,000. So
Right.
This is the drive times illegal, is what it is.
yeah, this is basically it's criminal, but it's also what I also don't understand is and one thing that kind of uh that's not a plot hole. What's the word for it? It's not a plot hole, but it's definitely interesting is how he's tampering with the crime scenes, yet, but and especially before the police even get there, but yet they can't trace him to any of the crime. Like there would be footprints and fingerprints over everything he touched. So, which would also not only be
Right.
illegal, would put him in jail for criminal activities, but it would also get him fired as a quote unquote journalist, because you can't, you're not only interfering with a crime scene, which is illegal, but you're leaving your fingerprints and things at a crime scene. Like it's just so I'm like dragging the body of a car crash victim to get a better angle. Like that's not that's illegal in so many different ways. But
Right.
both in your professional life and personal, like just as a human being, it's wrong. And I also just love in this movie though, the best characters in this movie is the supporting cast. It's not even Jake Gyllenhaal; it's the supporting cast.
Riz Ahmed is great.
Riz Ahmed is fantastic in this movie.
Yeah.
As almost like a voice of reason too, especially towards the end. Like he's like, "Oh, are you sure?" He's like, "You don't understand people. You don't understand that what you're doing is wrong. That what you're doing is not the right way to go about things." That it's like he's trying to get through to him, and eventually, ultimately, he ends up paying for his life. Paying for basically going against a guy that's basically playing God, journalism God. And then he was only in this for about half the movie, or like 60% of the movie. But Bill Paxton's phenomenal in this. I think that's Bill Paxton, right? That plays the journalism his rival at Mayhem News. It is.
I think.
Yeah, it is Bill Paxton. Yes,
Bill
it
Paxton?
is.
I think it's Bill Paxton.
Yes.
Who people know from Twister. And also other things too, but I know him from Twister. He's good in very like dramatic thriller-ish roles, and this fits him well in this case. But it's just it's weird how also when you realize too, because also it takes you like behind the scenes, behind the camera, but quite figuratively and literally, of how a news station is run, how journalism how it operates. And it's very interesting to see, because people also don't realize this, that the person you see on camera delivering a story is also not the person that they are off camera. People seem to forget that.
Right.
Like, especially with the news anchors, like how they look on camera versus how they are off camera. You can see like it. Like this is also showing how this field is also very much like Hollywood, where it's all glitz and glamour when you see it, but that's really not how it is with the underbelly. It's very seedy at times, and very competitive, that field, as we've seen. But that's why I think I like it so much. But the thing is, it's just that it's such a niche topic. It's such a niche kind of like plot and things like that. That's like you could easily forget about it because it's not like it's a superhero movie. It's not like an
action movie.
Yeah, it's not real. There's not really much action in it. Like it's just pretty much just a crime thriller. That's all it is, and it's a little bit slow moving, even for it being like disturbing at times. It is kind of a slow moving movie.
Especially like in the middle third.
Yeah, and it's like I love it, and I love that it's a great start. Like I'm thinking about the crime thrillers we've done. This is still third for me. Like in the last 3 years, like this is still behind. I think this is still behind Sicario. This is behind Collateral.
Yeah,
Like I still think this is
I
like
would
third.
agree.
It's definitely it's still a good movie, and I still like it. And obviously, as a like I said, as a journalism major, I'm compelled to like it. But but at the same time, it's just it it's trying to be based in realism, but the things that happen in it would never fly like in real like that would never fly in real life. You would never be allowed to do any of that stuff as a journalist. Like it's it's but I like that it's I like that it's unhinged. And it's funny, as I'm watching this movie, it was like the one thing that because the soundtrack, the score for this is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But the one thing that kept kind of playing in my mind as I'm watching this is the Don Henley song "Dirty Laundry." That's all about the dark side of journalism. That song, so
Yeah.
the dark side of news and of story, kind of breaking stories. And I was like, that's the only thing I was thinking of watching. I'm like, my God, I'm like, if they just would have found a way to fit that song into the movie, that would have been great. Because it's like it's just the lyrics fit that movie to a T. That's exactly what I think of when I think of that song. Is something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just I love all the characters in it. I love that. But Riz Ahmed and Bill Paxton are easily my two favorite characters in this movie because they're just. You can see that they're not the most upstanding people, and they kind of ride that line because we know Riz Ahmed's past is very checkered especially when he kind of has that interview at the diner or whatever it is. Like he's asking him questions about what he did for work prior. Like, oh yeah, you're like basically a homeless bum. Considering that, so he comes from kind of like squalor, like not really a great background, but yet he ends up being like the voice of reason late in the movie. Like you can kind of see there's a character arc with him. Same thing with same kind of thing with it's almost the same thing with Bill Paxton's almost like the antithesis, not totally, but of Jake Gyllenhaal's character of Lou, because it's like Bill Paxton, he's definitely not ethical, but yet he's doing it in ways that would still kind of be acceptable in a journalistic space, the way he goes about things. But he's not pushing the envelope to the extremes that Jake Gyllenhaal's character does. It's literally criminal. So it's like, everybody in this movie has questionable morality, but he's the only one that is willing to go further for what he wants versus playing within the confines of what it means to be in that business. So it's really kind of interesting when I thought about that from that standpoint. That's like, there is more here to like. And obviously, like I said, it's like I'm a nerd for journalism. So it's like these are things I think about even when I'm writing my own stories or even when I'm podcasting with you guys. It's just things I think about. But I love it. It's not going to be like no 9 out of 10 or a perfect 10. No movie is kind of going to get that for me, I think, this year. But I think if I had to look at it overall, I would watch it again. It's not a movie I would keep coming back to, but I would definitely watch it probably a second time just to see if there's anything I missed. So I think it's a 7.5 out of 10. That's where I would sit with it.
Yeah,
I still like it. It's not the greatest movie in the world, but I still like it, and I'm a nerd for it. So
yeah. I settled on a 7. I also really like Rene Russo in this.
Yeah.
The biggest thing with all the actors, and again, this is intentional. You've mentioned it, Shane's mentioned it, but to me, I felt like this whole movie to me is unsettling, but not in the way it's shot. Yes, to a degree, but it's unsettling because every character feels weird. Every character feels so out of place, but I don't know how to explain it. It's like, for me, I was just sitting there going, frick, these characters are weird. This is weird.
It's that questionable morality thing. Like, they are walking a fine line that they really never totally cross. So it's like, that's kind of where I think it is.
Except Jake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's the only one.
But also, I think it's not just that. It's just who they are as people. Look at the dialogue. Look at how it's like written, and look at how they like intentionally use the dialogue in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's all intended to be so unsettling because every character, I was like, this just does nothing about this feels right.
There's awkward pauses, awkward silence, like kind of that happens a lot in this movie when you think about it.
Yeah, there's so much like awkwardness and also Shane, I think part of that too was the lighting, like especially like in when Renee's character and Jake Gyllenhaal's character are having dinner. There's like unsettling candle lights, weird feeling in the background, and then obviously you see Jake's apartment being sort of the same way. It's just the whole movie. Like I have nothing else to say other than this was unsettling in such a very weird and distinct way, which is why it's a 7. And I know that sounds so simplistic, but it worked. Like the simplicicism, if you will. I don't even think that's a word. Is kind of what makes this movie simplicity makes this movie a 7 and a really interesting watch and just a case study in general, I think. Yeah. Kind of the human condition a little bit.
And I'm glad you brought up the lighting because that's something I was going to touch on because I think that definitely tells part of the story where I don't know if you guys noticed. I didn't notice this until my second watch, but Jake Gyllenhaal's face is almost never in full light. He's always it's like half or if it's bright outside, he's wearing sunglasses. Like you can't really look into his soul, so to speak.
I want to quickly say something. The only time you can really see his face is actually the opening of the movie when he gets stopped by the cops. He tries to break in or he's trying to like break into the
like
whatever
in good lighting.
The barbed wire, the fence, because it's just the flashlight and that's it. That's like the only time.
But I don't know if you guys noticed, but he rarely blinks.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah, Adam Gase is.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. That's weird.
Which that is and that was intentional by him. Another thing Gyllenhaal did was he lost 30 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, this guy, he doesn't have a lot of money. He's very, I feel like food and exercising, it's like not something that's on his mind. He's just like kind of just like a vulture, just a, kind of a scavenger and whatever. And at first that's, when I first started watching the movie, I thought that was just his character, like he was just a little bit kind of awkward and, just like didn't have the best social skills. And he, but as the movie goes on, I was like, oh no, this dude is just a straight up sociopath. Like, and I think the moment that I really realized that is because he spends the whole movie acting like he talks as though he's like an AI who learned about human behavior through like corporate training videos. You know what I mean? Like whenever he speaks, it sounds like a business email.
and that's not a bad thing. That's a really good thing.
I think that it really adds to it. And he's just great at manipulating people and just kind of, but the scene to me where, I really started to notice this is, he has this composure throughout the whole film. And then once he starts to feel like he's losing control because he has these, the rival companies and the Rene Russo, she's all pissed because she's like, oh, this isn't gonna, whatever. And then there's that shot where he's looking in the mirror and he just like screams and breaks it. first time I saw that, I was honest to God, I was like, like it was almost a jump scare. I was like, holy shit. Because I was like, oh, so this guy like has capacity for, violence or
Yeah.
this kind of like intense anger. Because no matter how angry someone may get, it's not common to just like randomly scream like that and break a
And break
mirror.
a mirror. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's um so anyways. And and I thought by the end he would just straight up kill I forget his character's name, Riz Ahmed's character. But I thought he would just straight up kill him.
Rick.
Rick,
yeah.
thank you. I thought he would just straight up murder him.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like the way, like what he did do was even more sinister.
Yeah, it
Because
was murder
so
by
much-
it was murder by aggressive proxy, is what I'm thinking.
Right, because he saw the guy was still alive, and he was like, "Oh, he's dead. Come get the shot."
Yeah.
Knowing that he would then kill him, which is, I mean, that's like, no, he didn't pull the trigger, but it's like he set it up, kind of. You know what I mean? And not kind of, he did. And then as he's dying, he tells him off, and it's like, wow, okay. And then I always just in the last scene when he's got all this whole new crew, and he's like, I will never ask you to do anything I would not do myself, which is like
the last line of the damn film.
Yeah, and I love that line because first of all, it's true.
Yeah.
Because but the thing is, he would do anything.
Yeah.
No matter how illegal or reckless it is. And but that just, I think, sums up his character so perfectly, because he doesn't care about what happens to other people, or even himself to an extent. So, and I mean, at no point in the movie does he ever lie or bullshit people. Like,
Yeah.
he, other than when he's trying to sell the bike to the pawn shop.
Well, yeah.
But like, throughout it, he's, he withholds information, but he doesn't just like, straight up lie to people that often, at least. And so, it's like, it's just a weird contrast with him, but, I do think this movie, though, like Brandon said, it's a little slow, at times. And, I think it was written and directed by David Gilroy, and I think Dan. And this is his directorial debut, and I really...
Yeah, Dan Gilroy, yes.
Dan Gilroy. I really think a script like this in the hands of like David Fincher would have, this would have gone from like, oh, that was pretty good, to like, okay, that was amazing. That's not a shot at Dan. It's just, it's because this is such a niche and unique story, like you were saying, and we've seen, in Fincher specifically, the reason I say him is because we have seen him do a lot of movies really well that are in this same kind of vein. So, you could mention a couple other guys too, and they would have worked, but I I think somebody online was like Scorsese, and it's like, okay, well then the movie would have been twice as long. But
Yeah.
This movie didn't need
but
unnecessary
anyway, so
Scorsese. This movie didn't need any unnecessary Scorsese.
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
But overall, I would give it an A minus probably,
yeah.
or B plus, kind of in that range.
Yeah.
So
What made you think there, Brandon?
I was because I was trying to remember the name of the movie, but you know what? To me, is a more accurate representation of this. Isn't I don't think it's not that it's a better movie, but it's a more accurate representation of journalism, and it's still a thriller, and it actually has two very well-known leads in it.
what year is it?
Early '80s,
Early 80s.
very very early '80s.
Think, what were you gonna say?
I mean, if I give you the cast, it'll give it away. But
I'm not sure.
it came out in 1981, and it was a movie I watched in college for one of my journalism classes, and it was called Absence of Malice. Paul Newman and Sally Field,
Oh,
and that movie is more realistic. Like it's a more realistic depiction of journalism and like this kind of stuff. Like this, how far are you willing to push things for stories? Than this. Like this is way more. I mean, it's 10 years ago, but it's still that's from 81. That's 30 something years later. So, or like what 33, 34 years later. So, it's gonna be more kind of like visual, more visually like just weird to look at. It's gonna be more like uh, I guess more just they can play around with things more. There's more, I guess, creative freedom to it. They take more liberties on certain things, more exaggeration, more sensationalism. But if you guys watch that movie, like Shane, have you watched that movie?
no.
Oh, damn it! That's because what's funny? If I when I was picking Buffalo '66, that was another movie I was considering. So
Yeah, yeah. It's funny that you bring up like movie that because like I've never seen it either. But another movie I was thinking about while watching this, and I'm heavily considering it for my pick in the playoffs. I'm heavily considering September 5, which it came out last year, and it's about like the Olympics and ABC News, and it's kind of a depiction more of a newsroom. So I'm debating between that for a movie. Should I tell Brandon what I'm also considering? Do you remember? Yeah. So
No.
Damn it!
No.
I don't
Save
think I'm gonna do it though. I'm still debating it. I don't think I'm gonna do it.
Now I'm scared.
You should, just for the meme.
I guess I should.
No.
You
gotta go with the better one.
Pick a side, damn it! Like, figure it out.
I'm
just saying it because it would be funny.
It would be funny, but
That's
it wouldn't
literally
like. I've been Brandon. I've been wanting you to watch this movie for so damn long, and you haven't yet.
Just tell him. Just tell him.
Yeah, I was debating between September 5 or Barbie.
I swear, if you pick, that's the one movie this year I will not watch. I am not gonna watch Barbie.
Why not,
bro? You honestly,
oh my god,
bro, it's good.
Do you want my podcast answer? Or you want my actual answer?
I will say though, I'm just even if I want you to just watch it in your spare time and because the only reason I would pick Barbie is just for your review. Of the movie.
I guarantee you, if I watch that movie, like I have to watch that by myself. I can't do that if my grandparents are here. I can't watch that, or if my mom like comes over and has to do like laundry or whatever, because they'll walk in and be like, "What is the crap on your screen? What are you watching?" I'm like, "It's Barbie." Like, what do you mean it's Barbie? No, yeah, it's Barbie. Get out of my room. Like, can you imagine a grown man saying that? Like,
Dude, it's actually really good. That's the
It is.
issue.
God.
It's
It is.
actually really good.
It genuinely shocked me.
I
I
can't.
saw the,
I'm
I saw the
debating it.
trailers. I saw the trailers and all the promo material, and I was like, "That looks so garbage." And then I watched it. I was like, that actually wasn't that bad.
I can't
actually pretty
imagine
good.
it being good.
Dude, it's actually good.
Greta Gerwig makes bangers, man. That's all
She
I'm gonna
does.
say.
So I'm debating between those two. Actually, what I might honestly what probably is the smart thing to do is I might have Shane watch September 5 on his own and make the pick for me. Honestly, because that's probably smart.
Yeah, I guess we could, but
Yeah.
I mean, well,
wanna be-
the good thing is though is that, I mean, honestly, just jokes aside, wouldn't it just make more sense to do that movie over Barbie because everybody, like, it's not worth talking about Barbie just for me to have seen it. Like, everybody
that is true. That is true. It's
everyone
pretty
but me has seen it, so it's just getting me.
even my dad has seen it.
Yeah, we have. Actually, that's a good point. I might just do September 5 or pick something else
because
it's so recent.
Yeah, because
it's so popular in the recent September 5 came out in 2024, so it is.
Like,
so recent.
And to be fair too, I wanted to see Oppenheimer in theaters. I didn't see either movie, so I missed the whole Barbenheimer thing completely.
We're doing Oppenheimer in the summer, so
yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I'm fine with that.
I didn't want to see either one in theaters.
Did you though?
No.
Oh. I didn't see both on the same day.
I can pull it up on my stream. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you were part of the Barbenheimer craze. You even texted us when you went to go see it. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna go see it today. I'm like, you're insane.
I'm seeing. I saw Barbie. I think the week after it came out, and I saw Oppenheimer a long time later.
Yeah, but I was
like,
I
saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I was like, I can't do both. I see. This is the final thing I'll say. I want to go back to the movies, but there's nothing coming out where I'm like, I have to go see it.
Yeah, I will say, for next week, we're doing a movie because the second one's coming out. We're doing Spinal Tap, and the second one's coming out as well.
So good. I've seen pieces of it, so I know kind of what it is, but I know it's good. I know Spinal Tap is good.
It's funny.
I told Shane, like, Spinal Tap 2's coming out, and he's like, yeah, we'll just do the first one. I'm like, okay, cool.
I think, I'm not going to say too much, but because it's this week's movie, but I think Spinal Tap is the second best mockumentary
ever.
Yeah. So
what's the first?
What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, and I also love the TV show that's on top of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I'm very excited for that for Spinal Tap next week. That should be great. But yeah, that's all we got. Anything else, boys?
I don't think so.
No,
we're just gonna get ready for another week of football. That's all it is.
Yep, another week. We'll see you on Thursday, man. Hey, not Cowboys. Jesus. Commanders and Packers on Thursday. So we'll see you after that. Game. That's a great game.
That's going to be good.
That's going to be really good on Thursday. So we'll see you all then. So Thursday, Sunday, and then we're watching Raiders Chargers live on Monday night. next Monday night. Because we don't want to stay up and wait until the final of that game to do a podcast.
I need to go like this. Like, I need to start doing like this and start praying and stuff because I need to get through that game. I'm gonna need so much to get through that game.
Yeah, it's
praying or conducting an orchestra.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Either one. Yeah. So that's our plan.
I mean, we watched Whiplash. So close enough.
There you
go. So Thursday, Sunday, and then Monday we are watching that barn burner of a football game on Monday night. But we'll see you all on Thursday. Peace, everybody.
See ya.
See you guys.